Hey guys, today we're going to talk about square roots and cubed roots. Let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want for you to do is to recall what a square root symbol looks like and what the cube root symbol looks like. Pause the video and write those down. Sweet. Okay. So now we also need to remember that a square root is the inverse of squaring. Last time we talked about what it looked like to square something, to multiply it by itself. Today we're going to go in that opposite direction. So, for example, if we have 3 squared, we are saying that that is 3 times 3, which equals 9. The inverse of this is that if we have the square root of 9, that's the same thing as saying we have the square root of 3 times 3, and since that number shows up twice, our answer is 3. Please realize there is no square root symbol around this 3 because the square root of 9 is not the square root of 3. It is just 3. All right, please keep that in mind. We also have something called a perfect square, which means that when we take our square roots, we're getting an integer. We're not getting a decimal, we're not getting a fraction. Right? So this 3 here is a perfect square. The square root of 9 is a perfect square. So let's look at some more perfect squares, right? So if I have 1 squared, then I can say that that is the same thing as 1 times 1, which is 1. So the inverse says that the square root of 1 is 1. Similarly, 2 squared, 2 times 2 gives me 4. So the inverse of that says that 4 squared equals 2. Again, 3 squared tells me that 3 times 3 is 9. So that inverse says that the square root of 9 equals 3. All right? All right, I want you to pause the video and try these 3. All right, perfect squares are not the only possible square roots that we can find. This is where the estimating part of our objective is going to come in. So let's check out how to do that. Let's say that I have to find the square root of 15. The first step that we need to do, step number 1, is to find the perfect square that 15 falls between. Perfect square, that's an A, that 15 falls between. So what this looks like, so we just said earlier that 1 squared was 1 times 1, which gave us 1. I'm going to change these arrows. 2 squared went to 2 times 2, which is 4. Now 4 is not 15. I need to keep going until I can get this number here to be the same or greater than that number up there. Right? That number that we're looking for. So let's try 3 squared. 3 times 3 equals 9. Not quite 15, but we're definitely getting closer. So 4 squared, oops, arrows, come on. So 4 times 4, which gives us 16. 16 is greater than 15. What this means is that my solution is going to be somewhere between 3 and 4. So solution is between the numbers 3 and 4. So it's going to be a decimal, 3 point something, which brings us to step 2. Oop, that's not a 32. That should be a 15, right? Because we're trying to find the square root of 15. So step number 2, we need to determine where our number 15 is closer, right? So we kind of already did this when we figured out that it's between 3 and 4, right? You just mentally kind of think that already, right? If I had 9, which was our 3 squared, and 16, which gave us our 4 squared, on a number line, 15 is definitely closer to 16 than it is to 9. Super close. Check that out. Super, super close. So that means that our answer is going to be a decimal higher than probably 5, right? It's not in the middle, it's higher than that. So our third step, step number 3, is to estimate a decimal based on where that number is closer to. So again, we said it's closer, it's going to be a number closer to 4, but it still needs to start with that 3. So I would say that 3.9 is a pretty safe bet because 4.0 is our next perfect square. So 3.9 is going to be the square root of 15. I hope this makes sense. Now I want you guys to try these 4 problems. Pause the video and give them a try. Okay, the last thing that we're going to go over is cubed roots. So please recall, if I have right here the cubed root of 8, let's not use red again. If I have the cubed root of 8, that index, which is our 3, in a cube root tells us that we need to find whatever number multiplied by itself 3 times is going to give us our base. And our base in this case is the 8. All right, so let's look that up. So if I have 1 cubed, we're going to say 1 times 1 times 1. 3 times this time because it's cubed, which gives us 1. Not quite 8. If I have 2 cubed, we're saying 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So this means the cubed root of 8 equals 2. Right? So for this class, we are not going to worry about estimating cube roots because that's really, really complicated. We're not going to worry about that so much. So now I want you guys to try these 3 problems. Pause the video and try them out. And that's all I have for you guys today. See you later. Love you. Bye.